Hello, welcome to PHP Tutorials. So today we are going to do something interesting. We're going to formally start web programming. And that's cool. Web programming is cool. Web developer is cool, and there are lots of jobs, lots of companies want smart web developers, and if you have not already done web development, maybe this is one way to start. And PHP is sort of the web development language. So let's see, this is our first web program. Now first, let me say something. Now, as a part of these tutorials, I'm going to show you lots of small examples. Now, that's not necessarily in a real life programming. You probably do a lot more advanced stuff, lot more advanced styles. But what we are covering here is sort of the basics, which is very important for you to understand the basic features. Later on, so these are fundamental features, and later on we will use this knowledge to really this knowledge will be applied so that you can do more advanced, like professional style programming. So for example, we have a simple form which has we are asking name and age of a person, and we are allowing to submit the form. Now in real life you will have a lot more style, and you have table or CSS, you have jQuery, validation, and all these things. But we are not doing those as of now because we are learning the basics first. So once we learn the basics, then we'll move on to the advanced stuff. So here we have our basic form where name and age. So let's put some name, which is our famous David, and age is, let's say, 20, and let's submit the form. Okay, nothing happened. The reason nothing happened is because when you do that, as you see, it goes back to test.php. Why does it go to test.php? Because that's what we mentioned here. So this is some of, if you haven't done HTML, so HTML, when you're developing form, you put action. That means the program which you call when the forms get submitted, and you have a form open and a close tag. So let's put some indentation here. Okay, so now let's put some code here. So let's put some PHP code here, and I have already copied. I've already done the programs. So what we are doing here is, so you've got three elements. We have got name, age, and submit button. So we are getting the values of this. Now what is this? What is post? Post is a variable. You can think a CGI environment variable. So when the form gets submitted, all the variables in the post, that all come here. And the way to access them is that you access it by the name of the field. So let's say fname is the name of the field here, right? So the value would be accessible through post. So post is an associative array. If you remember in our associative array tutorial, so post is an associative array which has, and the keys of that array is the field names, and the values are whatever you enter. So these would be the values stored. So now once we get the values, let's display them. So let's display them. So fine. So okay, so this is age, not last name. Okay, so this is welcome is not a PHP code, so that's why it is giving an error. Okay, so let's refresh the form. Okay, so we have welcome David. So the reason is that we just refreshed the form because the elements were already submitted. So let's put some different. John is 80-year-old. So let's now submit. Welcome John, your age is 80. Fine. But then one thing we don't like is, let's refresh it, or maybe let's do this. Okay, as you see, we're not entering any value, but you are getting this welcome your age blank. The reason being is that when the code gets executed, it first prints the form and then it comes here. So when you are first submitting the form, means when you're first calling the URL, you haven't put any value here, so these are all blank. And it gets printed because we are not checking for blank, or we are not checking even if the form has been submitted, meaning someone pressed the submit. So the way to do that is we can check if the form, someone pressed the submit, and the way to do that is remember we are capturing also the value of submit. So what this does is that it will keep the value. So here the name of the field is submit, even though it's a button, or it's a submit. So then we are accessing the value of submit. So here we are saying if submit not equal to blank, so that means it has been submitted, then do all these things. So let's look at carefully. So what we are saying is that, see, if someone hits submit, then we'll get this value here in the submit variable, and we are checking if submit variable is not null or it has value, then post this. So let's do it again. Let's see if it works this time. So here we don't want the name and age to appear. So let's refresh it again. I think it's retrieving values from the cache. Okay, there you go. So now we don't have submit. We don't have this welcome age blank. So let's put okay. Posted values are welcome Ben, your age is 30. So now some of you may be curious, what is really in the submit value, right? You would see submit is just like another field, even though it's a button. So when you get submit, you will get, so let's put value equal to, here we go. So we can put the value submit. So let's see what is in. So we have go here. So let's say we have Dave 100. So as you see, submit value is go because that's what is here. That's what gets submitted. So that's a simple PHP form. Again, this is a post, which is an associative array, because our method is post. If you define method as get, then you have to do this as get. And some of you who are not very familiar with get and post, I suggest you read a little bit about get and post. But so let's put a name called Obama. It's 50. So one thing is that as you define the get, as you see, the values come here. So that's the basically difference between get and post. In get, you get the values become a part of the URL when the form gets submitted, and we have the values here. Okay, so that's our the PHP forms, and next we will take some more advanced topics of PHP. Thank you. Just to repeat again, revisit my initial question or initial statement that in the real life, when you do actual forms, it will be handled a little bit more differently. Probably you'll have a different file for the form and another file for a PHP program. So typically you would make these as an HTML file and this as a PHP file. If you go to a little bit more advanced, probably you will check the name which is submitted maybe against a database or something, and then you can have another file where you're doing a lot of SQL stuff. So then we get into those things about model view controller interface and all those things. So all those great things will be doing in more in our advanced PHP tutorials. So stay tuned till that time and just keep learning PHP. Thank you.